This is an S1 probability question. This question involves an exam which has got two sections, Section A and Section B. But unlike the exams that you're used to, where you have to answer all the questions in Section A and all the questions in Section B, in this particular exam, candidates only have to answer 6 of the questions. Now there's a different number of questions in each section. Section A has got 5 questions, Section B has got 9 questions. In the first part of the question, we're interested in the number of ways someone can choose their 6 questions if they pick 3 from Section A and 3 from Section B. And then when we get to part 2, we'll be looking at someone who chooses 6 questions and finding the probability that if they chose them at random, they just so happen to pick 3 from each section, so 3 from A and 3 from B. So to start on the first part of the question, we might want to write down some information like the fact that we've got 14 questions in total. That's the 5 from A plus the 9 from B. And we're interested in looking at 3 from each section. This is an NCR question. It's not NPR because the order in which the questions are answered doesn't matter, but the number of ways we can choose, which we often think of NCR as N-choose-R, which is what we're interested in. So, to begin with, we've got 5C3. That's the number of ways of choosing the 3 questions from the 5 questions. Then, because we need these and the questions from section B, we multiply. So we multiply by 9C3, and 9C3 is the number of ways of choosing 3 questions from the 9 questions in section B. And we can use our calculator to do this, which will give us a value of 840. Be careful to check what the question was asking for. It was in how many different ways the candidate can choose these questions. So it's not a probability, we're not looking for an answer between 0 and 1, and we'd expect there to be quite a lot of ways, so 840, pretty big number, that seems reasonable. Okay, so now we move on to part 2, and we've got someone who's randomly chosen their 6 questions, and we want to find the probability that they've got 3 from each. So what they end up choosing is 3 from each, and there's 840 ways they can do that, and we're interested in it's 840 out of how many ways they could choose their questions altogether. So 3 from each out of the number of possible ways of choosing the question. So we've got the 840, and then the number of ways possible, this is where we'll use the fact that there's 14 altogether. It's the number of ways of choosing 6 questions out of 14. Again, the order doesn't matter, so that'll be 14C6. That turns out to be 3003. So 840 over 3003, which simplifies easily on your calculator to 40 over 143. This is not a particularly easy fraction to recognise, so we might want to write that as a decimal. That would be 0.280, which is rounded to 3 significant figures. And as usual, whenever we round our final answer, we should write in brackets the rounding that we've used.